Hey everybody, welcome back. Doing a Marvel's Avengers quick kind of basics of basics. We're about a week into the game now, and depending when you started, if you didn't play the beta, and there's a lot more to the game. There's different aspects, all kinds of different things. And there's been some stuff that I've gone, well, what does that mean? Or hold on, how do I find that out? Or where is that at exactly? I don't understand how to get through this. So I'm going to cover some really super basics, and I'm hoping that this will help some of you. For those of you who are probably further along in the game, might not help you at all. Maybe it will. Maybe there's a couple things like, you know what, yeah, if I had to redo it, that would have been the way I did it. But being where I'm at, struggling on a couple spots, trying to figure out some things, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna record something real quick and share it. So anyway, let's just jump into exactly what I'm talking about.
Bring me WolverThor!
Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is gear. Now, as you know, if you've been playing at all, you get some stuff over here in the gear, right? And as you go through the game, you get drops, you get all kinds of different drops. Now, what I want to tell you is that, you can see I'm not very far into the game at all. And I was trying to be real particular about my gear and, you know, should I build it? Should I boost it? Until you get to, I'd say 100 or 130 power, just equip whatever's highest. So right now this is 17. I don't even care. Like, maybe I wanted to make Cap ranged. You can see that, you know, his range rating goes up a little bit. Because this is so low, I'm not going to waste my time with it. Okay? I'm just going to go ahead and break it down. Same thing with my chest here. It's lower. I could unlock a perk, but honestly, at this power level, doesn't matter. Don't waste your time with it. It's so low, and I'm going to argue that until you get to 100 or 130 power, just save all those resource requirements that you see there with the nanotubes and I think plasma catalyst. Keep those, because once I think it's you get to 130, the amount that it takes to upgrade things, it goes up a lot. So you're going to want to save everything you can, and don't waste them down at this level, okay? Just keep them, just farm it. You know, maybe if you really need something to get past a certain point, okay, maybe, but I'm gonna tell you that you wanna just equip this gear. If it's stronger, just equip it. And another reason to do that is because it seems to be, and I don't know if this is a code thing or what this is exactly, but the drops are based off of what gear you actually have equipped. So you want to have the higher equipped gear. I noticed that as soon as I started doing this with Black Widow, I started getting higher and higher and higher and higher drops. So don't focus on the purple, the green, the blue, just get the power, get the highest power. Don't worry about it until you get much, much later in the game, okay? All right. The other part is I want to talk about this gear vendor. Now, I'm still early on in the game, and you can see, you know, here's something for Cap. So it's, if you hold, in my case, right trigger, you can see what it's compared to. Now, technically, this is stronger than what I have currently, but I'm not wasting my resources in this gear store at this point either, because I'm just trying to farm to get new gear. You can see the cost of fragments here are quite a bit. Upgrade modules, the same thing. It's not a lot, it's 2, but I don't have a lot of those. You know, so I'm kind of like, you know what, just save it. So my opinion, stay away from the gear vendor to start the game. Just do what I'm saying. Go farm this, whatever gear you get, get the power, just keep cycling through that until you get closer to the end game stuff. Okay, so the next part might be something that all of you figured out immediately, but for whatever reason, I didn't notice this right away, and I was going, how do I get to, I'm at the, you know, at the helicarrier, the Chimera, and I'm going, how do I get to the anthill? I'm going, all right, what's going on here now? And I'm looking through all these things, I'm looking for the anthill, and I'm going, all right, this one's not it, blah, 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 blah. So I go through all these, and I go to the Utah Badlands, and I do the same thing, and I'm like looking for it. I'm like highlighting all of these different, you know, nodes or whatever, and I just can't find it. And at some point when I was doing this, I was streaming, and somebody who was watching while I was streaming go, you got to go over the travel to outpost. I'm like, what? The thing at the bottom here. So in the Utah Badlands, the travel to outpost is how you get to the anthill. Again, super basic, but I just didn't realize it. So you click A there and it takes you there. I mean, for whatever reason, I missed it. So I wanted to bring it up in case you guys didn't notice that. now that we're at the anthill, one of the things I want to mention about what you want to do every single day if you're playing, or whenever, before you start doing anything in the game, this is one of the things you want to do. Okay, you want to go to your faction coordinator. In this case, it's Sarah Garza for the anthill folk, Inhumans, if you will. And you've got mine already done for Thor for the day, or they're working, and you've got these daily assignments down here. There's 8 of them. They vary from day to day, except those. The one part that I didn't notice, again, it's super basic, and I knew that I needed to do something for this, but I didn't realize I had to select it, is the daily like villain sector mission, or whatever daily mission I have. So that was up there. I assumed if I just went to go do it, that it would give it to me, and that's not the case. So I went to go beat Taskmaster. I beat him. I came back here and I was like, why isn't it letting me turn it in? And I'm like, okay, I actually have to click this and accept it. So click it and accept it first, and then go do it. Same thing with these daily assignments. Click them, accept them. I don't know why I didn't pick that up the first time I did it, but I didn't. So I wanted to share that with you guys. That's something that you want to make sure you do when you're in these faction coordinators, interface screens, or whatever you want to call them. Make sure you click those. And again, one of the things you do if you're playing for the day, come to Sarah Garza first, and the shield person. I'll show you that one in just a hot second. You want to do, or how many ever faction coordinators you got as this game develops, go to each one of them first, so that way when you're doing your missions, you're going to get some of those dailies. And again, if you're at Anthill or somewhere else and you want to go back to the Chimera, travel to Outpost once you're at the helicarrier. I know it's super simple, but I missed it. Figure there might be one more person who missed it too. And in the helicarrier, you probably already know where she's at.
Hey,
but Alessandra Morales, same thing as Sarah Garza. You want to go up to her, go get these dailies. Make sure you accept each one as you go through it, the 8 down here, and then do the daily mission. Before you start anything, if you're planning on playing for even 1 or 2 missions, just do it so you can get what you can. The next part I like to do before I really get going is also look at my character's challenge cards. This is another sort of daily, weekly thing that you've got going. Now you can see with Thor, I've already done these for the day. What I want to bring up here is that when you see these, so this is an elemental strike. The daily challenge was to defeat enemies with lightning attack. The other daily was defeat enemies while using the power of Uru. Okay, so I'm going, all right, what are lightning attacks specifically, and what is the power of Uru? And I've come across this in a couple of my different characters as I'm learning the game. I'm going, what are these? I don't know exactly what these are, and how do I figure out what they are? So lightning attacks and power of Uru, right? So what you want to do is go over to your skills. Okay, so when you're going through here, you know, you're like, okay, well, he's showing lightning there. Oh, what's going on? I don't see anything that says, you know, lightning. As you're looking through these, it says heavy attack at the top here, just underneath hammer slash. Same thing here with all these heavy attacks. Power attack, you know, power attack, and you're reading through the description. It's a storm striker attack with Odin Force, okay, which is going to be key in a second. Same thing, you go over here. Aerial light attack, it talks about light attacks, talks about the damage below. It doesn't say anything about lightning or shock or anything like that, right? So where this comes into effect is you've actually got to understand that when you do some of these, that it the Odin Force, right? So the Odin Force, if you come over here to his intrinsic ability, the Odin Force, while Odin Force is active, boosts the strength of melee attacks with an electrical charge that applies shock damage. So it's all about the Odin Force there and the abilities that you can get to use that. So that's part of how to do that. And the other part here is specifically, you can use his Assault Heroic ability, which also applies shock damage. So anything that you can find on here that does shock damage, that's what you're going to be talking about with his actual lightning attacks to defeat enemies for that specific challenge. Now, if we want to talk about the power of Uru, I was going through your blah, 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 long story short. If you go to the intrinsic ability, you come down and there's an actual ability that's the power of Uru. So all you do is you throw it, and you can see it in the screen here. You don't need to see me do it. You throw the hammer, it pins somebody, and you just use the Odin Force, that right trigger. Hit that right trigger, and you can see him. He's like, you know, he's getting that lightning to hit him, and you just got to have that be the final kill shot for that person. Depending on how strong your Thor is, it can be a little bit challenging. But the concept here is that you've got to kind of go to your skill tree and find which one of your abilities you want to use when you're doing these challenges. It helps you learn the game a little bit too later, because there might be enemies that are like more susceptible to shock damage, or maybe you want to understand how to use this power of Uru, or for me it was like, holy cow, this power, the Mjolnir is so powerful. I just, and without doing that daily challenge, I wouldn't have seen how strong this ability is for him, because I was totally underselling Thor, or at least underestimating Thor, because I hadn't played him that much, and this made me be like, dude, this guy's awesome. So another one that I hadn't looked at all today and haven't played was Kamala Khan. And again, her dailies are hit 2 or more enemies with a single counterattack. That's no big deal. But another one that was similar is defeat enemies with a combo of 7 hits or greater while using Polymorph or Embiggened. Now, Embiggened, if you aren't familiar with her, it's her main heroic, right? But the actual Polymorph, again, if you don't know this, which I'm sure most people who have been playing the game for a while do, is because you test this in her training, is you're just holding right trigger, right? So while holding your right trigger and you stay polymorphed, and this is just the hip check, but you're basically in this intrinsic ability where you're polymorphing around, you hold that and do those abilities, right? And again, you guys, I'll just show it to you because it's mentioned, but Embiggen, the ultimate heroic ability, that's all that one is. Another one, you got Hulk here, hit 3 or more enemies with sprint attacks. Okay, now do we know what that is? Probably. It's pretty simple. You come over here, you find a sprint attack. Okay, light attack, aerial light attack, light dodge attack, blah, blah, ranged attack. All right, so get it, your heavy attack upgrade. Where is this stinking sprint attack? I can't find my sprint attack. It's in here somewhere. Where is it? I can't find it. Now, one of them is just, in this case, you see a light sprint attack battering ram. You see another one that's a light sprint attack upgrade. There's also another one here. That's not it. It's here we go. A heavy sprint attack where you just simply run, and that's it. That's all you're doing. That's what you're trying to find. So idea, see the challenge card. If you don't know exactly what it is, come here, find it, so that way you can learn it. And the part I like about this is it really does teach people the game. Another thing that you might come across, whether it be a challenge card or a daily, is specific to the mission types. Again, this is something that you guys probably seen, or you might know, but you might not because you might miss it, is underneath the title of this particular mission, or any mission, you can see the name is Chitama Titan, and underneath that is Villain Sector. That Villain Sector is kind of like the classification of the mission. This one, Out of the Shadows, Shield Faction mission. That was something that I had to look for, was a Shield Faction mission, and obviously there's this icon there that shows me that it's Shield. There might be certain things that you come across throughout the game that could not be that obvious, and maybe it's one of these icons over here. You might need to do a control threat sector or something. I just wanted to share with you guys that underneath that thing is a mission type, and I personally, on the one that I was looking for, didn't intuitively see that right away, so I just wanted to share. Super basic. The last part I want to mention is and I did this in a brief video previously, it was probably like a 3-minute video, is kind of how to approach the game to start. What I said was fun. Just have fun, enjoy the game. Again, everyone's going to be different. Someone's going to want to rush to the end and start that gear grind. For me personally, my recommendation is enjoy it. Go through this campaign mode here. Go through the entire thing. See the story. For me, that personally invests me in a game a lot more, where I want to see how it goes. I mean, I was doing and still doing this like recording of the movie so I could watch it later and just see the story, because I just love Marvel stuff. And then when you get through that, you get to your Avengers Initiative part. And this is where it's kind of like, okay, now I'm going to start going through these grinds. And there's still story in this. But as you go through here, like, and you'll get, as you do the campaign, you're going to get individual storylines. And so once you finish that campaign, go and do those storylines. And what's going to happen is you're going to get to a certain point where you can't do another level. Like for me, I can't even do this. I think it's the 3rd level, because my characters aren't strong enough. So it's like, okay, well, what am I going to start doing there? It becomes about, that's when you these dailies and these challenge cards and making sure to do different missions. Those start coming into play as you can get those stories pushed along further. So, and the hives and all that stuff eventually comes in as well as you're getting to the end game. But something that I just wanted to kind of mention to you guys is that approach. In my opinion, have fun, do the campaign, enjoy the story. You're going to pick up the individual stories. Once you're done with the main campaign, Do the individual ones you can, and as you're playing, pick it up. Remember, go to those faction coordinators, pick those up. Get what you can to get those points so that you can get more gear, more rewards, whatever it might be. And then get to the point where you're starting to get to that gear grind. Because then that way it's like, all right, for me, again, I just feel like it's much more worthwhile if I'm invested in the story, if I really had a good time doing it, and then I get to that grind. I remember when I first started playing World of Warcraft, the guy who introduced me, I'll never forget it. He goes, you know, I just like, man, this sounds really cool. I really like those type of things. And he goes, look, I think he said it was either level 15 or level 30. I don't remember. He goes, don't talk to me about the game until you get to level, let's just say it was 15. I said, okay. And I was like so confused and just running around chasing nonsense. But I got so into the game that way because I started figuring things out and got invested in the story and started paying attention. And I played World of Warcraft for years and loved it. So anyway, that's my recommendation here. Those are my basics of the basics. You might have already known what they were, like I said, but I wanted to cover it. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. Hammer down that like button, click the notification bell, subscriptions, widgets, gadgets, all those kind of things. If you want to come chat on the Discord, the link is in the description below. I've got a little section for Marvel's Avengers and would love to have you guys out and chat. So anyway, appreciate you stopping by. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.